Hey everybody, welcome to my brand new YouTube channel, The Pet Food Puzzle Guy. My name is Glenn, and I guess if you're clicking on this video, then clearly you have an interest in your pet's diet or in pet food in general, or you've done a lot of research into it, or you've watched many of these other videos that have been on YouTube. So I should explain what this channel is, what I hope to accomplish here. I retired recently, and with the extra time, especially during the winter, couldn't get out and hike and do the things I love to do outside as much. I'm not a cold weather guy. So I discovered puzzles. You can see I'm actually working on one right here. And I always despised puzzles when I was younger and had no patience and no time. And now that I have the time and I guess I have a little bit of patience, I'm actually getting into it, and I find that it's a pretty good brain exercise. And there's a lot of analogies you can use with puzzles and pieces and all that. But besides discovering puzzles, I also discovered YouTube and started watching all these videos on how to finally get to the home projects I've been trying to get to and all other things. But the main thing that I found was my interest, my passion. For 34 years, I was a veterinary rep for a company that we made the therapeutic diets that veterinarians use if, God forbid, your dog has kidney disease or your cat has urinary stones or renal disease, whatever. And I loved it. I actually, don't tell my boss this, but I kind of miss it. One of my happy places in life all these years has been in an exam room or a treatment room at a clinic where, you know, there's a few doctors and a bunch of staff and technicians, and there's probably a tech or two sitting on the floor with a dog that's just coming out of surgery, coming out of anesthesia. And we're talking about the importance of nutrition in either managing animals that are ill and diseased or in trying to prevent those conditions. So again, I loved it. I'm a dog lover, which again, I appreciate. If you're here, you must be a dog lover like me to be interested in pet food. None of us want to be nutritionists. We just want our animals to live as long as possible, because the worst part is when we have to say goodbye to them, which eventually we have to do. So I appreciate you being here. So the reason the Pet Food Puzzle Guy is because as I watch these videos, there's lots of information, probably new to a lot of you. A lot of it is kind of the same content, but I will say I feel personally, maybe I need a little opinion button to pop up if I learn the technology of doing all that fancy stuff, but I believe a lot of it is information, a lot of it is misinformation. People may be sincere, but they can also be sincerely wrong. And so the puzzle part of the Pet Food Puzzle Guy is that if we apply it to thinking about a puzzle, you've got all these pieces of information from pet food marketers. If you don't know how to look at it and piece it together correctly, you're not going to come up with the right picture. Same way I have to choose these pieces carefully to put them together. I think you could kind of see down here, I've just started the frame. I'm one of those guys that has to do the frame first and then I fill it in. And I'm a little nervous because there's two pieces missing that I'm really hoping that are in there and that they're not in the box. But anyway, so that's why I'm here. I'm here because you care enough, and in my 34 years, I have learned an awful lot. Not just the nutrition part, which of course is important, but to you, the pet parent, I always get to talk to the veterinarian or the staff. I'm kind of excited with this platform to be able to talk to pet parents just like me that just love their animals, treat them just like family. Sometimes they're better than many of your family members, let's be honest. So nutrition, we know it matters. It gives us some little extra time with them, which is precious. So in the videos that I'm going to produce, I'm open to whatever topics, but I know the ones that I want to share, the things that I think are important for you as the pet parent to know. First of all, I think a short history of pet food marketing would probably be really good for everybody, because it's kind of interesting. I started it in the 80s in this game, and to look at the marketing or the pet food marketers and how they've tried to reach your pocketbook through your intellect and through your heart, or both, whatever. It definitely has changed over the years. And boy, if you could be a guy and look into the future and see what the next marketing thing was going to be and jump on that now, you probably could make a fortune. But it's really been hard to guess what the next thing would be. So I think you'll find that interesting to see how pet food marketers are trying to tune into you, okay? And they unfortunately, they control the pet food culture more than we would like to admit. That's just the way it is. So what are we going to discuss? We're going to discuss the pet food marketing, the history of it, and where we are today. We are going to look on the bag, okay? When you look at that bag, there are laws and regulations, pretty strict ones actually, that govern that bag. Think of that bag of food, or a can for that matter, as a legal document. So pet food marketers, and let me just separate, there's pet food marketers, the guys that come up with the marketing, and then there's the nutritionists. A lot of times in the beginning here, we're going to be talking about the marketers, not the food itself, but how do they market it to you. So the bag is important. But like any rule out there, it can be bent, it could be twisted, and it could be manipulated without being broken. Okay, if you have kids, you know all about that. I have kids and grandkids, so sure, every rule, there's a way to get around it or whatever. So pet food marketers are same way. I'd kind of, and this is another opinion thing, maybe this should be my opinion, Flash, but I'd put pet food marketers just a little above lawyers and used car salesmen. Okay, that's my personal opinion, so please. I know some of the other videos, people come out and say, I'm not a veterinarian, I'm not a board certified nutritionist, this is just my opinion. So let me say that too, okay? Now I have worked with board certified nutritionists that just blew my mind how brilliant they were and how much they cared. But I am not a nutritionist myself, so I am coming as the messenger, okay? So don't shoot the messenger. But again, a lot of this is probably my bias a little bit. I guess we all have a bias depending on our experience. I'm going to do my best to just give you facts and not bias. Because again, I just thought of another video might be philosophy versus science. You could come to this game of pet food with a philosophy. It doesn't mean it's scientific. It just means it's a philosophy that makes you feel good. Okay. So again, marketers are looking at that. Okay. So what's in the bag? The guaranteed analysis, big time. Everybody looks at that. The nutritional statement, might say AAFCO statement. And the last, of course, but most important for sure, is the ingredient panel. And pet food marketers take all three of those. They're very strict as far as the laws, but boy, do they manipulate and play with all three of those. And again, as a consumer, you're probably looking at it thinking it works this way, where it actually doesn't work that way. It works this way over here. So we will spend a lot of time on those. And then, of course, what's in the bag? The nutrition of it, meals. What are meals? What are byproducts? Fresh meat, all the stuff that's in the bag. But again, the marketers have gotten their hands into that too. So we'll have to go through that. So it's kind of like the good and the bad and the ugly of the what's in the bag. All right. We will definitely have to talk about wolves. I love wolves. My wife and I, we used to watch the Druid Pack up in Yellowstone National Park. It's where we met. We were working there together. Actually, the puzzle I'm working on is the national parks in America, and I'm sure I'll touch on this at some point. But we used to love watching the wolves, and so we need to talk about wolves, because you can't talk about pet food or pet nutrition without somebody bringing up the wolf. And so definitely we'll have to discuss that. Grain-free versus grain-inclusive. How do I, as a pet parent, deal with the idea of recalls? Or not the idea, but the reality of recalls. I think that's important. So we're going to go through a bunch of things. I'm actually really excited. Again, the few people that are going to watch this that know me know I love this stuff, and they're probably still shocked that I could actually figure out how to turn the video on. But I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and be looking for the other videos. I'm pretty sure the first one we're going to start with is the short history of pet food marketing, and then we'll go from there. But I'm really looking forward to it, and we will talk again. Bye.